legitimately non-COVID illness. It's not like the teams that say non-COVID illness and it's COVID illness.
Yeah.
Non.
The actual non-COVID.
Yeah.
I love that we have to use this distinction forever for that on.
Yeah.
Eric, you can start if you haven't.
Are we waiting or are we good?
Yeah.
You're good to go.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Since we're talking about league for a second, is it tough? You know, we know it's such a tight time constraint before you guys have to start making decisions and things like that. And then, to miss these early practices, how tough is that? I suppose.
Yeah, luckily, she and others were here pre-camp. So I feel like, a little bit of what we're doing these days is some repeat of what we did ahead of camp, to try to get everybody on the same page and for the new ones to get some extra reps. So I'm going with Mung. I don't know. Everybody can choose what they want to go with. I'm going with Mung. Mung, she's, I think a very smart player, and we've realized quickly, even with the language barrier, that she's understanding quite a bit, even without the translator. So, her specifically, I'm not really that worried about. Yeah, she's just gonna need more, reps when she's back.
How is this blending of having, some veterans who know what's going on out there and some new faces and young folks who are also trying to learn and going 1,000 miles an hour?
I mean, that's always the challenge of camp. It's not a new challenge for us. I think, vets sometimes each year they're here, I don't know, you'd have to ask them, but you get a little less patient maybe with having to go through the steps. But it's important for everybody because I don't think we were perfect in anything we did. So, you got to build that foundation again to be able to layer stuff on top of it.
Overall feel about day 2, day 3?
Day 3. Good. Everybody's brains are going for sure. We said today needed to be a mental day and everybody's brains are firing and, a little frustration there at the end. We're going through some of the offensive stuff and the guys we have, as I've said, the guys we have are good. They're not giving up a lot of easy. So it's good. We gotta adjust. And the best thing is that, our vets as a group and the young ones too, but the vets as a group are talking and you can see them on the side trying to problem solve. And we know we're going to see a lot of different coverages. So we got to start working on it now. Can't wait.
A little bit more length and size with the guys this year, seems like.
Yeah, I can't remember previous groups that well. Yeah, I think just a lot. Like the one thing with the guys is they're all like between like 5'9" and 6'3", and they want to switch everything, and so you got to coach them to not switch every time. But yeah, it's a good group and smarts too, which helps a lot with a practice team.
Talked about yesterday, who is it going to be?
Oh yes, the run to high. I knew it was coming. Okay, not going. Christy, Shakira, Slim, Shatori, Mung. I think that's everybody. Does that leave 12? But and Maisha will go and not play.
Thanks. Simply to get people that are going, make sure they get the quality reps.
Just part of meeting everybody where they're at right now, physically, given those guys that just got off a plane, especially an overseas flight, not have to get right back on one. We're there 3 nights, which is a while. And it's not going to be a lot of time for teaching and putting stuff in while we're there. It's going to be more playing. So even just having them there, like, not going to gain a lot just by being necessarily sitting on the side watching in that situation.
And maybe not asking specifically for names, but how many spots do you feel like are still open that you guys are still trying to figure out with this group?
We have 6 guaranteed contracts. We're going to carry 11. On paper, 5 are open. We can probably pencil in a couple more. I don't feel like we have to make any determination on those day 3 of camp. We're going to let it play out.
With Maisha's injury, if she's not ready to start the first game, I don't know if you guys have determined that yet, but if she's not, how does that work? Will you guys be able to get another body to get to 11 while you're waiting for her to get ready?
No, you have to go down to 9. You have to have 2 people out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Coach, I know you said this is a veteran team, but we got to mix this on you. Communication is one thing that has to be sure, because somebody say, hey, you turned the ball over. It's not that an attack, but it's more of a to get you better. How has the communication been so far, even though it's just day 3?
It's good. I mean, we kind of addressed it yesterday. It's hard with such a big group that you can't have a million side conversations going on. I think everybody's got to talk when it's time to talk and play when it's time to play. And, biggest thing for us is in terms of talking is communicating on the fly, transition defense. We have a point guard, Tosh is calling a play that other people got to listen. A big part of communication is listening for this group or any group. And so it's like, being aware of when should I be talking and when should I be paying attention. And that's partly what camp is for. The better we get at that, the more in sync we'll look on both ends.
I know it's kind of speaking to Tosh, want to kind of piggyback off you. AU, they allow like to be a player coach, and your point guards have to be an extension of you. How do you see a relationship forming with a Slim or a Tosh or anybody that because it's really your brain on the floor? How do you kind of see that relationship working?
Yeah, it's a two-way street. We're just trying to get aligned, and I have stuff I definitely want to do that I need them to understand why and thinking behind it. And they're going to see things in the course of a game or practice or in conversations with their teammates that they gotta be able to show me. So I think that's definitely a two-way street, not just with the point guards, but Elena, Kira, Ariel, all those guys. It's the more we can think the same way and see the game the same way, it's easier to make adjustments. It's easier to solve problems on the fly. And so I think that, point guard's probably the biggest thing because you're thinking in terms of play calling, but Tosh is in every action. So it's other ones also got to be able to relate to her, relate to me.
And then I guess this is the perfect time to experiment because it's not like you said, never set in stone. How do you see yourself maybe doing like a all defensive lineup or all not you giving your plays away, but it's like how do you look at yourself experiment and maybe you can throw something in maybe down the season?
I think that's going to be more situational end of game type of stuff like that. Need a three, end of game, those type of lineup combinations. Right now, I'm trying to figure out who's all available for Friday. So you'll see some lineup combinations on Friday you might not see during the season, but Friday is probably more about management and making sure everybody gets through the game in one piece, hopefully.
And then last one for you, I guess, is just not even coach, this is Eric. How have you been kind of processing and taking self-care of your father and beautiful child, by the way. Just how have you been just processing all this good stuff coming on at you at one time?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's I know what I signed up for sure. I don't know, Christy, do you ever know with kids? Do you know what you sign up for entirely? Every day is different. So like pediatrician yesterday morning and then here for practice. But it's good. I mean, it's obviously I have family here, which is really helpful. But these first 3 days are kind of a whirlwind, and then I probably shouldn't say this, but probably a little more sleep on the road than I do at home, and be on the road and actually for everybody, not just for me, but these couple of days on the road we'll have a little bit more room to breathe than even when we've been at home, because it was media day, practice, come back next morning, practice today, practice and leave. We'll get a practice day tomorrow, game Friday. It'll feel a little bit more normally paced.
You guys are having a scrimmage Thursday, right?
Yeah, we practice. Yeah, do a practice with them. Yep.
What do you hope to get out of those situations? And you guys are able to kind of scrimmage a team before you actually have an official exhibition.
Yeah, we've done it with Minnesota for a long time, and it's not an accident. It's them. Everybody knows how good Cheryl is and how well prepared and disciplined her teams are, and it's always been good for us. And I hope they get something out of it too, but that's not my problem. They can. That's up to them. It's always good. You see, it's different. It's different than playing against coaches. It's different against playing against each other. It's different against playing against the guys, because partly you don't know exactly what they're going to do till you get there. But we know with Minnesota, they're going to make it tough for you to run your offense. They're going to rebound. They're going to execute their stuff. And so it's just, it's always a good reality check for where you're at in training camp.
What keys do you want for the team? Not necessarily to take away things from Minnesota, but what do you want to see from the Mystics on Friday? What do you guys think?
I want our spacing to be good. I want our transition defense to be good. And I want us to, work to pressure their catches and push their offense out and not let them do that to us. That's always a big thing when we play against them. And then we got to rebound the ball. I think when you think of Minnesota, you think of the way they defend and disrupt and the way they rebound. So being very competitive in those areas.
We're 3 days in, but anybody standing out, catching your eye? Anybody you want to mention specifically that's having a good first 3 days?
I don't know. Elena looks good.
That's what-
Both Elenas look good. Both Elenas look good. Both Elenas look good. No, I think in different ways, like the vet group has been good in terms of their focus, and you kind of expect that from them. So sometimes when a player's standing out, like it's to be expected. Like Tosh and Ariel and those guys, I expect them to be good, and they have been good. I think you can see with a player like Jazz Jones or Steph Jones that even a little bit of time last year here, I think has helped them. They look comfortable. And they're both going to get, good minutes on Friday. So, nobody crazy, good or bad or otherwise. Just, everybody's just trying to get our concepts down.
I said that earlier, it's gotta help for those who, even those who might not have spent the whole season here last year, but even
Yep.
small stints, that's gotta help kind of bring back.
I mean, you know people's names and like where the locker room is. That stuff matters.
I think that's all I got.
Hey, anybody?